Good morning, and good morning, precious saints. Yes, it's been a very long time, almost over a week, hey? Unfortunately, it's been a little bit difficult for me to sit at my desk and stuff like that, so I haven't done that for a week, just because I've had a bad back. So, but I am back. Abba is good. He's always good. And there's been something that I've wanted to share on for a while. So I'm doing sort of a more sort of in-depth study on it. So today we might not get through very much, but I'm hoping to lay a bit of a foundation, and then we're going to learn about this together in great detail, because I think it's quite amazing. It's tithing, basically the Jewish way. That's what it is. It's basically tithing the Jewish way. So, welcome to the 11th of August. Beautiful Sunday morning, 11th of August, 2024. And let's look at tithing the Jewish way. So, if we look at tithes and offerings, we're looking in Hebrew, tithes and offerings, basically, it's called the teruma and the ma'aser, that is set aside for the priests and the Levites and the poor, and believe it or not, yourself. This is what is so awesome. It's really, really amazing. And I just, I heard a little bit of teaching on this about 2 months ago, and again this month, and I thought this is something that is so interesting that I think people need to actually teach on this, to hear about it and learn about it, because it'll change our lives. It'll change your life. So first of all, what needs to be understood in no uncertain terms is that tithing and offerings has got nothing, it's actually almost got nothing to do with money. It's got to do with the state of your heart. It has got to do with your heart intention. It has got to do with your faith, and it has got to do with your trust and where you've laid up your treasures. That's what it has to do with, more than it has to do with, more than it actually has to do with actual finance, actual money. And this, I know, might sound a little bit strange to some people, but it's true, because the only reason we would hold on to our tithe and offering is because we fear that we will not have enough for the month, or we really want to buy this thing, but if I give that, then I'm not going to have it. Or, well, I'm not going to give to that person because who knows what they're going to do with it. And that's all very selfish reasons, and fear and lack of trust, because we don't trust Abba Father enough to take care of us. Remember, he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, Psalm 50. I love that psalm. Absolutely love that psalm. Anyway, so let's have a look quickly. Tithes and offerings is teruma and ma'aser, okay, which is set aside for the priests, the Levites, and the poor, and of course, as we said, yourself. So if we have a look at Leviticus 27, verses 31 through 33, it basically says that all the 10th from the land, from the trees and from the herbs, belongs to Adonai anyway. We know that everything is his, but he asks us to then give back as good stewards, because remember, what we are is a steward. We are not the owners of, we are good managers of. So it doesn't belong to us, it belongs to him. And then there are certain things that we need to do to be good stewards of what belongs to him. Numbers 18 verses 21 through to 32 explains how the Levites are to get the 10th and are to give a 10th from the 10th to Adonai. They're allowed to eat their 10th as it is payment for their service. So they're allowed to eat of what is given to them. Then in Deuteronomy 14, verses 23 to 28, the tithe, the increase of your grain, and remember the priests. Tzedekah Okay, the primary meaning of tzedekah is righteousness, but it came to be known as the Jewish system of giving. How's that? How is that? So tzedekah actually means righteousness, but over the years it has become to be known as the Jewish system of giving, and that is righteousness. It's righteousness. Sure. I think that's quite amazing, because then if we have a look, because then we have a look and we see that Abraham is the first one who actually gave a tithe to Melchizedek, and Abraham's faith was accounted to him as righteousness. See that? Sure. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Abba. That's amazing. So Abraham gave the first tithe to Melchizedek, and Abraham's faith was accounted to him as righteousness. And tzedekah actually means righteousness, but it has been known, or it has come to be known as the Jewish system of giving. That's very interesting. Amazing how that just fits together. So if we look at the first fruits, the terumah. Now the terumah and the tithe is two different things. Okay? We're going to get into that a little bit more as we go on and as we look. But like I said, I'm just laying a quick foundation now. So first fruits, terumah, also known as the wave offering or the heave offering. It's a tribute. So wave offering because they literally lift it up. It means to lift it up, lifting up. The first fruits are separate from tithes, and you can read about that distinction in Nehemiah 12:44. Okay, the first fruit is literally what comes from the first part of the harvest. So you're looking at approximately 3 to 5 harvests each year, depending on what crop you are growing. You could be harvesting 3 to 5 times a year. Now, I must tell you that I'm jumping ahead, but as we go more into this, you'll see there that it says it must be of the produce of Eretz Israel, which is from the land of Israel. It must come from the produce of the land of Israel. And if it's not coming from the land of Israel, then we don't need to be doing this. Yeah, I just think that we're looking at a different time and a different space, if you know what I mean. We're not tithing or giving terumah or maaser from our crops, but we're giving it from what we earn, what is ours. Anyway, so the first part of a ripening harvest, that is the bikuram, worked out to between 1/40th or 1/60th, okay, which actually works out to 1.6 to 2.5% of the total. This bikuram would be taken to the high priest, or if we had to turn that into today's times, it would be taken to the pastor, right? We can see that in Numbers 31:41. And then they would lift it high, you see, the wave offering, okay, lift it high. And it was also placed into the hands of the priests, and in doing this, it would become terumah. So then it would become a blessing. And it would bless the remainder of the harvest. So you're giving them, let's say, 2.5% of your harvest, and then it would bless the remainder of your harvest. You can see that in Ezekiel 44, verse 30. Now, of course, that would make very, very, very sure that you are giving your terumah, your bikura, to a priest of good reputation. You're not going to give it to a priest who has, or a ministry that has a questionable reputation, or that has no fruits to show for what it is doing, because then you wouldn't be blessed. The rest of your crop would not be blessed. In the situations, because there obviously were situations like that where there wasn't a priest, a kohanim, to whom one could take your bikurim, then it would be given to the father in the home, because the father in the home is considered the priest of the house. Now, strangely enough, or interestingly enough, however you want to see it, the Amish work this way as well. The Amish actually do that, is they take the young men in the house will take their I'm talking very very staunch Amish. They will take whatever they earn, right, from their crops or from their whatevers, and they will give it to the father of their house or to the priest as their payment. Okay. It's understood that to eat your bikurim before it became teruma would result in the curse of the rest of your crop. So you could not touch your bikurim. You could not touch that first 1.6 to 2.5% of your crop until you had given it to the kohanim, because then it would curse the rest of your crop. So, yeah, Jesus was almost like our first fruit. He was offered up almost as a first fruit. Well, as we know, he's the first of many brothers. So we are running out of time already, and I'm just looking at what else I want to talk about. Well, let's see how much of this I can get through before we run out of time completely, because I want to look at teruma some more. Okay, as we've seen, teruma literally means the heave offering, okay, the wave offering, the lifted up, all right? And this teruma, according to the Jewish tradition, came to mean a portion of various foodstuffs given to the priests, or in today's times, the pastor. It was always the very first portion taken before anything else was taken. Okay, so before any other tithe, before any foodstuffs, before anything, the bikurim had to be taken first. Okay, the teruma had to be taken first, and it was exclusively for the priests or the pastors who had to eat it in a state of purity. Now remember, they had very stringent rituals and laws about purification and washing themselves and things like that. Now there are various terumas, okay? The teruma gedolah means the great blessing. So the great teruma, okay? Which included portions of grain, wine, and oil. Even a portion of the challah, which is bread, which would have been separated from the dough. So before it was actually baked, it was separated from the dough already, as also a kind of teruma, as are first fruits, gifts, and slaughtered offerings. Also, the pidyon haben, the redemption of the firstborn son. Now listen to this. It's a tradition where the firstborn son, you pay 5 silver coins to the priest on behalf of the firstborn son to redeem the firstborn son. Interesting, hey? Okay, I'm going to do this last bit, and then we'll carry on some more. And please excuse me if there are gaps in between, because I'm also really, really studying this. Now, here's a really, really interesting fact. The teruma is supposed to come from the refined or completed product. That I find very interesting. So it is separated from wine, not from the grapes. It would be separated from oil, not from the olive. Very interesting when you put that in today's times. As I say, we're out of time. Keep your wicks trimmed, your lanterns full. Share Jesus, share Jesus, share Jesus, share Jesus everywhere. And until we meet again, be blessed, and remember to always be a blessing.